Hi guys, it's Steffi from the Novelty Corner and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another Books Beside My Bed video. For those of you who are new here, I film one of these every week where I wrap up the last 7 days of reading. For those of you who are very familiar with this series, welcome back. Being the last Books Beside My Bed video for June, I will have my stats at the end of my reviews, and because I've basically been camped out on the couch watching Veronica Mars for the last week, I only have 2 books to talk about, which is probably one of the smallest Books Beside My Bed videos for this year. So let's jump straight into it. This is my reading wrap up from the 23rd to the 29th of June. I read 2 books this week, 455 pages, and my yearly reading total is up to 166 books. The first book that I read this week was The Tea Dragon Society by Katie O'Neill. You might remember last week or the week before, I've forgotten which one it was, I read The Tea Dragon Festival, which I thought was a sequel to this book, but is actually a prequel to it, so I've actually read them in the right order, even though I didn't read them in publication order. So it all worked out really well there. Once I'd finished reading The Tea Dragon Festival, I immediately ordered The Tea Dragon Society and pre-ordered a physical copy of The Tea Dragon Festival. This one arrived and I absolutely loved it. This is about a young blacksmith called Greta who discovers a tea dragon in the marketplace and then joins up with Ezekiel and Eric and learns about how to care for tea dragons, and it is super cute and super adorable. It's all about learning a new craft, how to enrich your life and how to slow down and take in everything that's going on around you. It is full of gorgeous artwork. It is just beautiful, and if you have not read it, I highly recommend you check it out. It is a gorgeous little graphic novel that is suitable for sort of middle grade upwards and has lots of diversity, lots of really great themes. I adored it and I gave it 5 stars. This was a 2017 release from Oni Press. It's beautiful. And I finished Good Omens by Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman. I started this, I think it might have been last week or the week before, I can't remember. I've sort of just been reading it in between other things, which is not something I usually do, but like I said, I've been binge watching TV a lot. This edition was published in 1991 by Corgi and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It is a reread for me. I haven't read it for about 10 years and I was rereading it because I'd watched the miniseries, and I know I probably should have done it the other way around, but you know, I wanted to watch the series. For those of you who are unfamiliar with this is the story of the end of the world. The Antichrist is on Earth and an angel and a demon are there trying to prevent the apocalypse from happening. I love Aziraphale and Crowley, and I mean, I love them even more in the TV show. I actually felt like they weren't in this as much in the book. Like, they're there and they do things, and I actually felt like there was less focus on the 2 angels in the book. And yet they're the massive focus of the TV show because they're fantastic and wonderful. It is very funny. It is very satirical. It pokes fun at just about everything. I love all the footnotes in the book. I love the social commentary that is still relevant today. Like, the technology might be different, politicians might be different, but basically the commentary is exactly the same, and I just think it is wonderful for that. So this was a really fun, nostalgic reread for me, and I'm very glad that I finally got through it again. So let's go through some stats. I actually have monthly stats, and then I have the little graphs that I usually show, which are sort of cumulative of the first 6 months of the year. So this month I read a total of 26 books. 4 of them were kids books, 5 were middle grade books, 7 were young adult books. I read 1 new adult book and 10 adult books. And if any of my math is wrong on this, just be aware, maths is not my strong suit at all. In terms of genres, 3 books that I read were fantasy books, 2 were sci-fi, 1 was a magical realism-ish book. I read 5 contemporary books, 1 thriller or mystery, 4 romance or erotica books, 4 picture books, 1 novella, 1 anthology, 5 paranormal books, 2 graphic novels, and 1 verse book. And I'm sorry that I was looking down. I had to keep track of all of my notes. And now going on to the graphs. Not much has changed in the genre reel. It's still sci-fi heavy, but you know, I'm hoping that won't change. I'm hoping that will stay about a quarter of my reading for the whole year just because I love it. I'm still mostly reading trade paperbacks, but there's a bit of a spread of everything at the moment. Mostly reading novels. The average page length hasn't changed. It's still 300 to 399 pages because that's the average page length of most novels. And I'm not particularly going out of my way to read tomes unless I have to, just because I'm exhausted and they take a lot of effort and time and concentration. Because I'm getting through my back catalogue of last year's books, most of my books were released in 2018, but there is also some backlist things in there, which is quite nice. My publisher wheel is my colourful pizza that makes me really happy because there's billions of them. And to be honest, this isn't even all of them because some of them I haven't added properly to the actual list thing that tallies all these up. So it's just a colourful wheel and it makes me happy looking at it. I tend to give things 4 stars. I have talked about this before. It is because I do actually know my reading taste. It's just knowing myself as a reader. The majority of the books that I've read this year have been written by female authors. That is not particularly surprising to me. My protagonist's gender wheel is sort of evening itself out a little bit, which is nice. I've primarily read adult books this year, but it's about a 50-50 split if you add up the kids, middle grade and YA categories together as sort of the non-adult reading. I'm trying to increase my adult books a little bit because, you know, I am an adult. I suppose I should pretend to be one every now and then. So that is all of my reading stats for June. It has been a great first half of the year, I have to say. These are the 2 books that I've read this week, and I will hopefully be reading a little bit more next week. I've almost finished Veronica Mars. I'm on season 3. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do the movie, and then I'm going to read the 2 books because people keep telling me that they're books and I didn't know that. But I now have them on my Kindle, so I will be reading those books. And yeah, and then I will be pretty much back onto reading, and I do have 2 weeks off from work. It is the school holidays here because it is cold and winter and miserable, so it must be term 2 holidays. So there will be more reading, I promise, next week. In the comments below, let me know what you have been reading over the last 7 days. What has stood out for you? Anything really good that you are enjoying at the moment? I hope that wherever you are in the world, you're having a wonderful day, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye guys.